Ships about to showcase are currently under testing on the public test server. They'll be going to testing on the main servers in 15.4. So all the ships I'll be showcasing today are subject to change. So the final stats I'll be showcasing are not the final stats. So let's get started. The first ship is going to be the Fuyutsuki. They'll be going over the Kurama, which is the Super Zal, then the Conte Verde, the ship here, then the Peredovoy, and the Cayuga. So we'll be going over each of these, talking about what they compared to and how they look so far in their testing cycle. So, all right, so the Fuyutsuki, it pretty much looks like a Akazuki. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Looks like a tier 8 Akazuki. Armor, yeah, looks like it too. Survivability, 20,300 HP. Guns, it gets 4 turrets in total with 8 guns. 2.2-second reload. 30 millimeters of HE pen. Torpedoes, it gets 1 rack of 4 with 12-kilometer range. Concealment, 7.5. Let's see. So this gets... It gets an exhaust smoke. Okay. So it gets an Italian's exhaust smoke and a torpedo reload booster.
Oh, big stretch, dude. Oh, big stretch, yeah.
So instead of it having a standard smoke, it has an exhaust smoke. So it's more of a farmer compared to like the Haragumo. Okay. That's going to be interesting. Depth charges, it's about normal. Anti-air, it's Japanese. Maneuverability, it's about, yeah, without engine boost, it's not going to be the fastest. Concealment's going to be about the same. Okay. So it's definitely going to be using that exhaust smoke gimmick to be able to farm. So that's the ship, so you guys can take a look at that. Here you guys go. I like the paint job they have for this ship. It looks really good. What do you guys think of the camo? It looks really good to me. Looks really nice. I like it. Pretty good. But yeah. We'll see how this one goes to the testing cycle. So let's look at the Super Zal. So this is the Kurama. All right, so it's armor, 25 millimeter armor. Deck armor is 40 millimeters, which is good for HE spam. Aft is up till 25 millimeters. Side armor is 30, with the torpedo protection on the side. Citadel is above water. Ooh. Yeah, you're going to have to be careful in that midsection there, or that is going to be quite painful. Armor at the front here is 250, 150. Sides here is also 100, 150-ish here. Top is going to be 65. And it's going to be the same for the rear. Let's take a look at the ship real quick here. Ship has a total of 12 guns. Okay. 4 turrets. Gun angles look okay for it. Ooh, look at those torpedoes. Okay. Nice. All right, so it has 203 millimeters, 13.5-second reload. HE damage is 3450, good damage. Pen is 34, that's also good. AP damage is 5750. Torpedoes are 12 kilometers. You get 20 of them. That's a lot of torpedoes. 23,000 damage, so signature damage for Japanese. 67 knots, so not the fastest, but they're still good speed. 2-minute reload, 12-kilometer range, so pretty good. Airstrikes for the aerial ASW, 8 kilometers. That's typical for super ships. Anti-air, 8 flak. It's good for the Japanese. Anti-air itself, mid-range 3.5 is 525. So good mid-range anti-air for its tier, but long range not. But that's typical of the Japanese. Maneuverability 35 knots. It's about normal for Japanese cruisers. 130 meter turning radius. That's a pretty big turning radius. Rudder shift 11.6. Concealment is 12.2 base, but it's going to be around 10-ish for when you build into it, so that's going to be pretty nice. It comes with a Hydro or DFAA, a fighter, a nice heal, and 7-kilometer submarine surveillance. And then it has a burst fire. The burst fire reduces its gun range by 34%, and it makes the AP damage plus 20%. And it makes the gun range down to about 11 kilometers if you don't build into it. And it has a 50-second reload, which is a really long reload, and you have burst of 2. I think overall, this burst file is really nice to where if you're fighting someone, you're just about to just delete them. It makes it where you're able to go dark really fast with that 11-kilometer range. So as long as nobody else is in that range, you're going to be able to go dark really fast after you kill the target that's right there, as long as nobody else is in that range. Now, if somebody else is in that range, you're not going to be able to go dark, so I like the burst fire. But overall, it looks like an interesting ship. But yeah, I like it so far. So let's just see how this one goes through the testing cycle. So let's move on to the Conte Verde. All right, so this is a tier 10 Italian battleship. But yeah, Japanese AP is good. It is good. All right, so what was the survivability on this ship again? It was 52,000 with a 52,000 with 29% torpedo protection. That's pretty nice. Okay. So the Conte Verde. So this thing has 72,500 HP. That's pretty low for a tier 10 battleship. 33% torpedo protection. Armor, 25 millimeter bow. Aft is also 25 millimeters. Citadel protection is 457. Wow, okay. 50 deck armor is 32. 50. Wow, okay. So 32, 50. So more deck armor on the rear. Ooh, I don't like this area right here. This right here looks like a giant shell catchers for AP. Oh yeah, that looks pretty bad. That's gonna be. Ooh, you gotta be careful of that. Yeah, that section right here. Ooh, that's gonna be catching a lot of AP. It's good for HE spam though, but AP going right there. Oh yeah. So it does have the Loria Citadel. Oof, which is essentially if you aim right for the smokestacks, at either one, you're going to get a nice Citadel. Yep. So you gotta watch out for that. Let's take a look at the ship real quick. But yeah, I like this design of the ship though. It does look really good. Looks really nice. Okay. All right. So the guns, you get 16 guns in total. You get 4 turrets, 203 millimeter guns, 17.5 second reload. You get sap and AP. The sap is 5,000 damage, 54 millimeters of pen. Secondaries are not good. Yeah, don't build into them. That's for sure. The dispersion is really bad. Gun range 17.4, gun velocity. So the sap and the AP have different shell velocities. So the sap is faster than the AP. So the sap is going to be easier to hit. Okay, I like that. Turret diverse is also okay as well. But yeah, the long reload is going to be due to how much sap damage it can do. Airstrike's 11 kilometers. That's normal. Anti-air, it's Italian, so I'm going to look at that. 35 knot speed. It's a good, it's an all right speed for a tier 10 battleship. It's pretty good. Good speed, 35 knots. Turning radius 1,000. That is insanely bad. Bad turning radius. 17-second rudder shift time. That is also not good. Concealment is 16.1. That is also not good. Concealment will probably be around 13-ish something. So you're going to be definitely playing this ship more mid to long range from what its current stats are. So you do have to be careful of that. So let's look at its equipment. It gets a heal and a spotting plane. And we're a fighter. Okay. The fact it doesn't get an exhaust smoke is going to be quite dangerous. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't like the fact it doesn't get a smoke. It just encourages a really far back play style. Kind of like a Loria is what it seems like. The shells themselves seem accurate, though. But yeah, it just seems like the playstyle is more further back. Like you're not going to be able to get close to this thing. You got to play further back. If you try playing close, you're just going to get melted. So, and if you also look too, the back armor is also thicker on the top. So it kind of it makes it where if you're bow in, you're easier to get farmed. But if you're like kiting away, it's going to be harder for them to do damage to you on these sections, which a lot of the shells are going to be right here for HE. So it's going to be good to tank HE spam. So I really like that. Okay. Moving on, let's look at the Peredovoy. Okay, so tier 10 Soviet destroyer. Armor, 19 millimeters, 25 millimeters. Okay. Let's take a look at the ship real quick. Nice design. So it has a total of 3 turrets, 6 guns. Can't tell if that's a secondary on it. It does have a secondary on it. Okay. 6-kilometer range. All right. Interesting. 16,900 HP. That is... for a tier 10? That's not good. It has a heavy repair party, which is worse than the Lucians, so that's not good. 2-minute cooldown. It gets an 8% engine boost. It gets 12 depth charges per charge, 2400 damage. That's normal. Torpedo. So the guns are 6 of them. Shells are 870, so not the fastest. 5.3 second reload. HE's 1900 damage. 8% fire chance with 22 millimeters of pen. Like, the damage doesn't seem that high for the reload. And the AP, and it gets AP. 2500 damage. Okay. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of how this ship looks. And the torpedoes are 6.8 kilometers. What's this thing's concealment? 7.6? So it gets like a 6 point something concealment. Anti-air 3.5. Yeah, no. Maximum speed 42.5 knots. So it's a fast ship. Turning radius is good for the tier, is good for what it is. 3.8 second rudder shift. None of these turrets are 360. I'm not, so far, I'm not the biggest fan. Like, it seems like the Delny would just be better. Tier for tier. Delny would just do a better job, or a Kaba. So I'd rather just play those. But, again, we'll see how it goes through the testing process. But so far, I'm not the biggest fan of this thing. The Cayuga? Okay, so this is tier 9. Armor, 19 millimeters. Take a look at it real quick. 2 turrets at the front, 4 guns. 2 turrets at the back, 4 guns. So it's a total of 8 guns. 1 rack of torpedoes. They look like they are a 4 stack. Okay. Okay. So 16,400 HP. As for reference, it has slightly less HP than the other one. Okay. 102 millimeter guns. 3.5 second reload. 25 millimeter of HE pen. 1500 damage. 6% fire chance, and the AP is 1900 with 811 meters per second. So the gun's gonna be more mid to close range. Torpedoes, it gets 1 4-stack, 10-kilometer range, 15,000 damage, 62 knots. Depth charges are 6 per charge, 5,000 damage. It's a lot of damage, but 6 per charge isn't too much, but 5,000 damage per depth charge is a lot of damage. That's double a lot of destroyers. It's a lot of damage. Anti-air 5.8. No. Maneuverability 36.5 knots. Turning radius 630. That's a good turning radius. And rudder assist 3.8. That's also good. Concealment's going to be about 6 something when it's fully built. So it's good for the tier. So the equipment real quick. For the equipment, standard DCP. It does get a toggleable crawling smoke, which lasts for 4 minutes and 10 seconds. And it has a minimum usage time of 5 seconds and a cooldown of 2 minutes. So you can have it going, turn it off, and then get a cooldown. I don't know why they'd have a cooldown of 120 seconds with a 5-second minimum action time. I feel like that was a miscode probably. I think that cooldown time is going to be different. I definitely do not think that's going to stay 2 minutes. I think it's going to be more like, yeah, I think that's definitely going to get changed. I think that's going to be more like maybe 30 seconds. I don't think there's any way it would be for, it's going to be for that. So I think that's going to be changed. Engine boots 8%. That's what's a 2-minute active time and 2-minute cooldown. So yeah, so we'll see how this goes with that. You are able to build, so in this patch as well, in 15.4, you are able to add time to the total usage. So you are able to also build that in here as well. So then with the new skills that are still in testing that are going to be added, which is why there's going to be a skill reset in 15.4, which is going to be in May. You're able to add to your total usage time of consumables, which includes the like how long your consumables are. So that makes your time longer. Same with here as well. So that's really something that's really nice. So I'm really happy to see that as well, that they're finally making it where you can actually add to those timers, because before you really couldn't affect them. So now that you actually are, it's really good. That also affects the ships like Sabir, which I'll show you guys, and I can show you guys that now. So for the Sabir, you can also build into the Sabir as well. So as you can see, its heal is 1 minute and 50 seconds. This does not add to more of the timer. It just makes it where the heal is stronger. So you see 568, it goes to 682. But as you can see right here, it adds 10% total, the total usage time. So it goes from 1:40 to 1:50, right? And then you have this, which makes it where when you've tanked 2 million, it makes it where it adds 7.5% total usage time to your repair party. Now, I think that this should add more than 7.5%. I think that's a little bit small. I think that should be like 15 or maybe 20. I think it should be more, because as you can see, it also is supposed to give a repair party consumable, right? So I think that it should give a higher total usage timer for battleships. But but they're going in the right direction with that overall. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the test ships, though. We have the Cayuga, the Peredovoy, that thing, the Conte Verde, the Verde. Like, so far, I like the Conte Verde. I like the Kurama. I like, and the Fuyutsuki. I like the Cayuga. I like as well, but the Peredovoy I'm not a big fan of, like, at all. I did go over the Fort Worth in a separate video, so I'm not really going to go over that today. But I think the ship is also is going well through the testing process as well. The Bio Tuyu is going well through the testing process, as well as the Sete di Settembro. So all these ships are doing well through their testing process. So that's good. Super happy. So, but no, all these ships are going to be going into testing on the main server in 15.4, which is going to be in May. And again, all the ships I showcased today are under testing, so their stats aren't finalized. So we'll see how they do in their final iteration whenever their testing is done. So what did you guys think? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.